I would probably also pre-populate some enemies in the level where it starts. Initially there aren't any, and can sometimes take a moment before any spawn in. But then again, this is also the perfect opportunity to bust a few moves.
Привет! Добро пожаловать на YouTube-канал Geekbrains, где мы простым языком рассказываем про все, что связано с IT. Замысловатые термины, техновости и набирающие популярность профессии. В рамках этого выпуска мы расскажем, кто такой NLP-разработчик, чем он полезен, сколько зарабатывает и, самое важное, как им стать. Ну что ж, начнем. 10 лет назад многие из нас мечтали о голосовом помощнике, как у железного человека. Но сейчас это уже не кажется чем-то суперзаоблачным. Технологии развиваются с невероятной скоростью. Появляются гаджеты, которые могут управлять целым домом. Приложения, которые помогают людям из разных точек Земли понимать друг друга и другие приспособления для автоматизации процессов. И для всего этого нужны специалисты, пишущие софт. Так кто же этот загадочный NLP-разработчик? Сразу спешу вас успокоить, этот специалист не имеет ничего общего с нейролингвистическим программированием. И ему не нужно влиять на свое подсознание, чтобы творить невесть что. Но с программированием он все же связан. Давайте разбираться по порядку. Что такое NLP? Natural Language Processing, или проще, обработка естественного языка. NLP-разработка – это сравнительно новое направление в машинном обучении по работе с большим количеством текстовых данных, семантическим анализом, тематическим моделированием и так далее. NLP-разработчик – это эксперт, который благодаря своим скиллам в программировании и знаниям математики по большей части обучает компьютерные системы анализировать и генерировать текст, распознавать и синтезировать.
So I looked at the art asset and I was getting kind of sword and sorcery vibes, so I decided to make an action-adventure game. I noticed these tiles over here, they look kind of like water, so I got the idea to make an island setting. I took the wall tiles and made some raised islands and then used those water tiles as a mask for a shader, which I combined with a noise texture for some distortion. I intended it to look like waterfall, but it ended up looking more like underwater coral, which was also cool, so I just left it as it was. Next, I made the player character. I just selected random parts of different characters on the sprite sheet and combined them together and made some basic animations by moving different parts around and toggling visibility of segments. I also threw down a simple polygon blob to get a slash effect, and then I just added the controls and logic for movement, rolling, and attacking. Next, I made a zombie character. So I also added an animated torch flame to its head, kind of giving it a magical effect. I animated just the whole thing and added some AI to it, so it pursues and attacks the player and can be killed, and also added some blood particle effects for it and the player when they get hit. Then I made a health UI by taking chunks of this red waterfall here and just toggling the size of it when you get hit. I got the idea to have this flame sprite pop out of a zombie when you kill it, but I wanted it to be animated, so I used a noise texture to distort it and get a flame effect, and then made a dissolve shader that had it fade out when it dies. Then I made an ogre mini-boss with a chain weapon I just created from this bomb. For the chain, I just selected chunks out of the bomb. I used a fabric inverse kinematic formula to get it to act like a chain. It just kind of drags it around when it's not attacking, and then will swing it around when it is attacking. And I just made so it will alternate between attacking and resting, and when it's attacking, it pursues the player. And then finally, I made a Sorcerer Boss. It has two spells, one where you summon a bunch of fire sprites, and one where it shoots a demon face at you that just hurts you if it hits you. And then made so the whole sorcerer has like two phases. So the first half it's pretty easy, you just cast a spell every few seconds. But then after you get it down to half health, it goes into a berserk stage and starts casting like crazy. Then I just added a bunch of details, like when the boss dies, they drop a key, keys to open doors, and then doors close behind you and you go through them. So you get locked into boss areas, and then also health potions that'll heal you by one. A boss health display when you start fighting the boss. Victory zone that will end the game when you reach it, a restart message when you die. And then finally sound effects and music, which I pulled from opengameart.org and the YouTube audio library.
So we have WASD to move, arrow keys to attack, space to roll. Okay, that's kind of fun. So I've journeyed to the Isle of Exquisite Damnation, seeking the Chalice of Eternity. However,
ладно, давай на чистоту. Кто тебя возьмет? Ну, да. Ну, только тем, да, кто это реально знал. где ты будешь запрягать там и всех повозку, и он для себя говорил. Ну, да. Ну так нет, это я, ну это и что дальше-то? Я, типа того, да. Удивить, что из меня хочешь чем-то. Ну, это да, это выяснение отношений с самим собой, и как это сказать, да, типа того, да. Ну, всегда, да. И потом, ну, ты знаешь, может, есть места, где просто прокатит сразу. Вот мне позвонили откуда-то, сказали, приезжай, давай, вот тебе нагрузка, фортепиано, целая куча. Ну, конечно, наверное, не все так идеально, но тем не менее, как бы, я понимаю. Да. Да. Ну, я понял. А, не дадут тебе работу, тебе уже скидывать, да, я понял, да. Ну ты вообще такой кретин, блин. Я здесь 3 года сижу, ни одна шняга, блин, мне не позвонила, сука. Ну я вообще, он типа, понимаю, да. Мне вообще, ну и что и ты мне хочешь сказать? Как бы, да. Он про себя и говорит, да. Ну да, у них свои дела какие-то, меня это не касается, откуда я знаю? Значит, у нас здесь супер столица. Да, у них там. Ну и нет, я приходил туда, они говорят, у нас самих нагрузок не хватает там, да. Значит, здесь пианистов как конь настругал, значит, наверное. Ничего так поймет, да. Наверное. Вот это да, значит, тем более. Ну да. Я каждую неделю высылаю чаще, да, ну да. Ну не нужно знать, что ты говоришь, я ее позванивал, что только не делал уже. Надоели уже просто, да. А зачем? Я что, дурак, что ли, ходить туда пешком, что ли? Народ. Ну да. Ну, знаешь, да, понимаю, да. Ну, наоборот, я бы, говорит, тебя взяла, но не могла бы, да. Ну, не надо было, тебе надо было, да. Ну да. Ну нет, я куда-то заезжал, куда-то я не хотел, не знаю, да. Наверное, нет, ну вот я понял. Там свои дела какие-то там, у них отношения неформальные, много неформальщины всякой, да. Понимаешь, наверное, нет, просто, вот я понял. Да, наоборот. Нет, наоборот, да. Ну или там просто тебя пришел бы, тебя просто послали бы и все. Ну, зачем ты лишний раз ходить, если ты так, ну да. Гневишь.
The Night Sorcerer and some minions. Beware, traveler.
He also included a rolling mechanic, which is pretty fancy. Unfortunately, the instructions were front-loaded with a wall of text at the beginning, so I immediately forgot about it and never used it again. Mills was pretty clever when flipping the assets. I really like how he used the helmet as polygon. However, I do hope he at least scooped out the head before strapping them on.
Okay, so here we go. That was pretty sad. Okay, so here we go. That was pretty satisfying. I like the particles. I like how there's some blood happening.
Oh, the flames are enemies as well? They have some face. Oh, I remember those flies. Oh, nice use. You did a custom enemy.
I really like the water effect. This 2D water effect. I guess I can't see my mouse right now, but this 2D water effect looks pretty good. How kind of the water's kind of shimmering a little bit.
Okay, so let's see. A boss? Oh, the boss just killed all the guys. Okay. So my job is halfway done here.
The Ogre Brute was an extreme difficulty round, mostly due to the lack of telegraphing in his placement. Something about the situation caused me to charge in there out of
Смотри,
reflex.
а в чем сложность-то, в чем? Слушай, они про себя говорят, ну вот это, да, вот он и говорит, нет, да, наоборот, ну да, ну вот, и мне говорю, ну и что, по специальности работаю, ну и что, и где работа, Нет, а где? Ну, просто я говорю. А, ну нет, ну наоборот, да, не важно сверху. Во-вторых, вакансий нету. Во-первых, я уже да, все исписал, и они просто не интересуются этим. Им это не надо, у них там свое. Да. Они даже не реагируют, как бы, да. Нет, я сначала да, понимаю, в чем дело-то, что себя надо говорить, да. Все так думают, да.
And then immediately get flooded.
Дома надо сидеть.
Eventually, with enough willpower, I learned to run off to the corner first, and then figured out the timing to get out of there before taking any damage. I'm sure the rolling mechanic really helps a lot in this fight. I would probably introduce it here, or to remind the pair others.
Ну, я думаю, что я, что ты им позвонишь, они думают, да. Нет, ну что, ну нет, понимаю, да. Ну, значит, уезжать отсюда надо. Как бы, что-то. Меня все равно по-любому, ну а что, в чем проблема-то? Что, на себя так она думает, да. Ну, да, понимаю. Ну и что? Что это значит? Бог один, говорит. Ну, да. А себе надо знать, да. Ну, наоборот, просто. Наоборот, плохо, говорит, будет без друзей, наоборот. Молодец, просто. Вот они, то есть они говорят про то, что ты работаешь как попало на LDBs работаешь, они про это говорят, да? Да, вот, то есть, вот я тебе про себя и говорю, да. Да. Я уже достаточно это 100 раз уже говорил, уже про себя, да, понимаете, да. Ну да, надо сказать просто.
Okay, I really like how this game has like more interesting bosses than mine did.
Ну, это не совсем корректно, конечно, но смотри сам вообще, да. Ну, наоборот, значит, ну.
There's a safe spot here.
Ну нет, понимаю, наверное, нет. Ну, значит, такой дефект. Может, действительно так, ну да. Сейчас уже, да.
So what's up here? Oh my goodness. Okay, alright. Okay. What's going on? Oh god. Okay. That's not good. Pick up some of these.
If there's one thing I can say about Myth, though, is that its animations sure are pretty, huh? Just take a look at this skeleton mage. Beautifully animated.
So without a actual delay, we can probably just touch him the quicker we can. No. Okay, so I just died. Again.
Ooh, he's angry. Phase 2 boss. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright. Everything's fine.
Die! Yeah, die! Yeah, we got it. You got it. What comes next?
This is a fun fight due to the different attacks that he has. A lot easier than Yogurt, the difficulty needs a bit of tweaking, but certainly a memorable boss fight.
And it looks like I won. So that was pretty awesome. I have found the Chalice of Eternity. The adventure has come to a successful close.
You are welcome. Против себя уже ты все делал просто, да. Против тебя ты все делал. Не себе так думать, что дает. Сегодня опять нет, что-то, да. Что-то со мной пошло не так. Катана, сатана.
For just $67, you can make as many videos as you want, and you never need to pick up a camera or use any fancy editing software. With Doodly, you drag, you drop, you tweak some settings, and boom, video done. It'll take you.
Oh, Christmas. Snowy mountains and a cup
Doodly.
of hot chocolate.
Или аналогичная
And all
какая-то.
work is finally done. The nicest time of the year. I was waiting for you. Hello there, and welcome to this.
Ну, считайте, что сегодня или выходной, или просто это, ну, это все просто голова больная. Сегодня что-то со мной перегорело, что ли. Не знаю пока. Нет, ну, это тоже момент. Ты смотри, сдался, да, такой. Если ты сдался и сел пить пиво, например, то оно у тебя будет неделю выходить, как минимум. А так между нами просто больше, да. Если ты сдался, да, понимаешь. Да. Да, так что как-то надо экономнее. Ну смотри сам. Это вот мой подход такой. Игрушки тоже затягивают, если ты в игры будешь играть, да. И потом они, да, такие, да. 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 Лучше просто помедитировать. Что, пошла, что ли? Нет.
This relaxed December devil. What the? My leg.
Hey, you little shit. Ready to tell people the truth?
The truth? What are you talking about?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Snowy mountains? You've spent the whole month in front of your screen. And hot chocolate? Look at you. You'd better be running around the block, nerd.
I get it. I was playing too cool. But who are you?
I am December Crunch. The manifestation of your last indie game dev month. I gain my energy from your overwork, from your sleepless nights, from your missed screenshot Saturdays and your nightmares about delayed updates on your games, and I'm here to be your silly self-taught wannabe game dev bot.
Okay, yeah, I admit that I've promised too much, but... What happened?
Don't admit your mistakes.
Ah, so every time I tell the truth and admit that I've struggled in a situation during game development, you lose a bit of your power.
I mean, you want a cookie?
Keep your cookies. Here it comes. This is devlog number 3, Christmas Crunch Confessions. Have fun. Hi, I'm a part-time indie developer and illustrator. I've gained my knowledge through thousands of online tutorials, and now I want to give something back and share these skills with you. If you like these videos, subscribe to the channel to not miss new videos coming up, and if you want to support me, check out my website that contains my published games and a detailed dev blog and much more, or hit me up on Twitter. Okay guys, to be honest, this month was crazy. If you watched the previous 2 episodes, you'll know that I'm sharing my progress on my personal dream game. It's a mecha local multiplayer game I'm developing alone using Unity, and it's heavily inspired by the anime Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Онлайн-семинар Тони Роббинса на русском языке. Раскрой свой скрытый потенциал.
I got along pretty well since I've started my first devlog in October, and your feedback, guys, thank you so much. It's overwhelming how much good references and ideas you shared with me in that short time span. You are my MVPs.
What's up with that dream game you want to make so hard?
I don't want to let you wait. If you came to see progress on my mecha game, here's the truth. I did not work on it.
No! But what is this? This is a visualization of the screen flow for the game. You show impressions how the players are guided from the start to the first mission, and the mech customization. That was a lot of work. And look here, you even created a chart showing the game loop that also defines your various winning scenarios you talked about in the November devlog.
Yeah. I wanted to show this, but honestly, I made this already in early November, and I also think I should attribute all the artwork correctly because it's not mine. I will do that maybe rather on a blog post on my website next year. But what did I do instead if I wasn't working hard on my dream game? Well, if you paid attention in the last video, I mentioned it already. For December I plan working a bit more on my existing game, Country Ball Potato Miami, where I'm currently making a multiplayer mode.
You made an online multiplayer game mode for your existing game in just 1 month?
Kinda, yeah.
Did you ever make an online game before? You know that's quite hard and different because it includes a lot of networking and stuff you've never have to handle in offline games.
Well, I gave myself a huge task, and I've never done that before. But Country Ball Potato Miami is my first ever released game, and it has grown a solid fan base. Already in an early stage, 2 years ago in 2019, some people were asking for a multiplayer mode so they could play with their friends. And as the pandemic this year spread all over the world, I think I should finally give them a way to play and have this experience together with their friends even without being at the same place. So I started setting up a Photon account for Unity and coded day and night, trying to get the system running. Although the start went smooth, there were a lot of special situations that needed to be handled. It was a whole lot more work than I expected, even though I knew that multiplayer games are another level of game development, especially for solo indies.
Oh, and boys, with the people who like your devlogs and your mecha game, if I remember right, you promised them progress.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't hold my promises.
What are you doing?
I am developing alone. I'm earning my daily bread with a 50% assistance job at the Art Academy and by doing freelance illustration jobs. That's quite a bit to handle. And also I wanted to make and get some presents for the people I really care about.
Excuses. You could have worked way harder and deliver a good project and your devlog on time.
Listen, Crunch. This month stressed the hell out of me and let you grow. But the people I care about come first.
Okay, so heartwarming, I want to throw up. so at least show me how the online multiplayer of Country Ball Potato Mayhem looks like.
Sure, that's the least I can do. The new feature is a Battle Royale game mode for 5 players that can battle on a lovely designed map. The characters are customizable and shoot each other with potatoes. You can either play ranked matches, a quick match with random players, or you can even create custom matches for your friends only. The last one standing wins the pot if you play ranked matches, and the top 3 players climb the ladder of fame in the worldwide ranking. And by the way, you don't need to create a profile or something, download and play it right away.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool. How much will it cost you to play? I know your humans are all money driven.
It's partially true. I will need some income to keep the servers running, otherwise it will be over soon with this whole indie game dev dream. Therefore, players can support the development with any of the 3 affordable donation tiers. And I said this once in another video about the origins of Country Ball Potato Mayhem. The game is free and will remain free. If you cannot afford or don't want to donate, watch an ad and you can play for free.
Ads? Everyone hates ads.
Okay, yeah, and I hate to starve after working day and night for months.
Oh well, fair enough.
Если бы было просто зарабатывать деньги в интернет-рекламе, все бы это делали. Но все вокруг не богатые, и вы знаете почему. Реклама вот...
But what was that thing with the charity I saw in the video you mentioned?
All right. Last year, between the 24th of December and the 6th of January, 6th of January, I did a charity where I spent 90% of the profit from all in-app purchases of that period to UNICEF. Thanks go out to everyone who participated back then. We raised about $106 for good. You are awesome. And yes, let's do the same this year. 90% from Christmas, the 24th, till 6th.
January the 6th, ha.
Will go to the International Red Cross.
January the 6th, ha.
Will go to the International Red Cross movement.
January the 6th. January the 6th, ha.
Will go to the International Red Cross movement that is dedicated to protect human life and health, to ensure respect for all human beings, and to prevent and alleviate human suffering. I have to point out that this is not an official partnership. I just get the money from Apple and Google and then give it to the Red Cross in the name of all Country Ball Potato Mayhem players.
Oh, 90% is nearly all, dude. Why?
Because helping is good. I'm far from being able to support others in need, but I'm privileged at the same time to do what I love and to have the chance to try to make a living out of it. So it's fine. It's a good thing, I guess.
Okay, so when is the new update available?
I know you, Crunch. You want an exact date. Unfortunately, I won't give you one. It will be released in January for sure. The best way to stay informed is to follow me on my social media and subscribe to my channel. Listen, Crunch. I know you hit me hard before and during the whole month, but in some strange way I like you. You were born from ambition and the wish of creating something special for the people who love the same that we love. Games.
I guess we cannot be without each other. I should be just more realistic and also relaxed about the situation. People will understand, I hope.
Alright then. This was the little bit shorter Christmas Crunch Confession special. I really hope you and your families, friends, neighbors, pets, and whoever is dear to you stay safe and take care. A crazy year is ending and new hope is coming. I thank every single one of you for the support over the last couple of months. And I promise more videos about my dream mecha game are coming in the future. Who's that?
Oh, that's my cousin, January Crunch.
да. Ничего, пройдет все. Все придет. Наоборот, зачем-то... А что они так делать-то будут? Ну наоборот, значит делать надо будет. Наоборот, потому что...
So I received a lot of comments about the players sleeping outside in Jelly World, and so I think today it's finally time to change that.
Носки, там нашли систем. Бумеранг. Нет? А что странного-то? Ничего странного. Да, тоже так.
This video is made possible by Ting. Hey everybody, my name is Charles, and today we are going to take a look at a brand new track coming from Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. They happen to be two of my personal favorites in that sort of pop, R&B, soul type of space. So I wanted to take a look at this and maybe break some of the stuff down that's happening inside of it. So let's check it out.
What you doing? Where you at?
This is just ridiculous. Oh, I learned about Anderson .Paak a few years ago, and I wish I had known before, because just, I mean, what an unbelievable talent, just in terms of sheer groove. I mean, he's got a great voice, he's a great drummer. His Tiny Desk concert is still like one of my favorite Tiny Desks of all time. The dude is not just a songwriter and a singer, like, he can play. And I know that's not news to fans, but just, it was something that kind of caught me off guard. I was like, this dude can play the drums really, really well. And already, I mean, that's just like, that's the first thing you hear. Even from that intro fill, there's a certain depth to it that you can't get out of a machine and you can't get out of a drummer that doesn't have a groove like that.
I look too good to be alone. My house clean, my pool warm.
Wow, okay, so this is what I love so much about this stuff. Bruno Mars has done this, I mean, honestly, like Uptown Funk did it. What was the one, What I Like? I think that's what it's called. He's put out some great stuff. It's funny because, you know, Bruno Mars, of course, he has a catalog of music that is kind of just that pop, insert here, mainstream, sell a bazillion copies. To me is not particularly interesting, but a lot of the stuff has just been mind-boggling. I mean, what a way to bring back a groove that is so tied to its kind of 60s, 70s roots, yet progressing it into a more modern era of R&B and modern soul. I've just been super impressed, and of course Anderson .Paak is in that similar vein, just doing incredible beats, incredible grooves, and just great chord changes, and these are no exceptions, so let's check it out. That's a tried and tested little progression there. We kind of get the vibe that we're the home base of this key is definitely C major. So we're in the key of C major, right? So we're starting on the 4 chord, F major 7. And then this is a really common thing that you would hear with these types of songs in this particular style. You'd hear a 5 chord, the G major, but we hang on to that F in the bass. Really, the function is kind of just as like a 4, 5, but what's happening is rather rather than the bass line follow, we're leaving the bass line on that F because it's going to eventually fall to the E, to the 3 chord. And what that does is it just keeps, instead of kind of like bouncing around, it's just a really nice suspension. Even though the chord itself is not a sus chord, the bass line kind of leaves us hanging on that F until we go and release it into the E minor. It's just a really nice way to create a little bit of a different dynamic than just using the chords that we're outlining in their root positions, going 4, 5, 3. I mean, it would work the same way, theoretically, it would accomplish the same thing, but just without that added dynamic of sort of suspending the entire thing on that F, holding that F through the 5 chord, and then letting it fall to the E. That's such a subtle but really beautiful touch, and it's a classic sound. Coming right out of the gate with that, whew!
Just shake smooth like a newborn.
The subtle lines and the counter melodies, I mean, just really fantastic.
And the west wing of this mansion was happening. I am
Okay, alright, so I've listened through this before, okay, and the first time I listened, I was just like, what? It's kind of laying the groundwork of what it's going to be. So none of the sounds up to that point were surprising to me. It was just super, it was real solid groove, amazing tone quality, and of course the great melodies and counter melodies and all that stuff. But then we switch over to Bruno's part, and it drops into E flat major, and I'm like, whoa! You know, and we just totally changed key out of the blue with no lead-in. Now, one of the things we've talked about on the channel before is you can set up any key change with a 5 or a 2/5 in front of that new key. In this key, that might have sounded like right, setting up the E flat with a 5 chord. In this case, I'm kind of using like a B flat sus 13. Before dropping, but they don't do that. That intentional choice to leave out any type of transition is really effective here, because it totally catches your ear off guard, and you're just like, whoa, whoa, drops right into the E flat. That's such a great sound.
I am playing no games, every word that I say is coming straight from the heart. So if you're trying to
I love that. That is such a E flat major. So now we're technically we're like in the key of E flat, right? So 1, 4, 4, 3, 2, and then we bring the 5 chord of the original key, right? Because we said we were in C major. So the 5 chord there would be G. So that what a just amazing sound. Now, the relationship between C and E flat is a minor third. Now, minor thirds work really well as key changes. It might be because it's a very different key center. I mean, we have here, like in C major, if we were to go to G or F or even, maybe not D as much, but G, for example, similar keys. If we look at their key signatures, they don't contain very many sharps or flats. But when we go to something like E flat, and E flat with its 3 flats, I mean, it's a very different quality. It's a drastic change. And I think that's partially what makes it stick out and what makes it work so well.
I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open, girl. I'ma leave the door open. Let you feel the way I feel, and you want me like I want you tonight, baby. Tell me that you're coming through.
And this is what I'm talking about. It's so exciting for music to especially, you know, these days when things like dominant chords with alterations, like a flat 9
and a flat 13. I mean, it's not exactly common in pop music or mainstream music in general, whatever subgenre it may be. Not super common these days. And so to hear stuff like this just steer straight into it and utilize a flat 9, flat 13, A7 chord. I mean, that is just so cool to hear in this context. And it works so well because beautiful transition back to the top of the form or the next verse. It's unreal, just absolutely incredible.
So sweet, so sweet, so tight, so I won't bite unless you like, if you
the video is so great. I mean, it's awesome. It's so well filmed and really, really brilliantly put together. I love it.
Tell me that you're coming through.
Yet again, another place that we're not expecting. There's no warning. It's just, let's drop into this totally different space for the bridge, and it's just like, whoa, catches you off guard, and it sounds so good. We left on that A7 flat 9 flat 13 voicing. I can see sharp 9 2 maybe. Let's see what. Yeah, kind of all of that, and just drop onto the A flat major 7. Woo! Going back to the 5 chord of that C, right? What I just is how you do a key change, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. So we had this, right? We did that a couple times, and then we switched again. Same phrase, but just down a whole step. This is setting us up for, or in the case of how the verse actually goes, it doesn't go to the 1, it goes to the 4. Right? Where did we start? We started in the key of C. Now, we've moved up a half step. That is a classic key change, but it utilized the bridge to set that key change up in a way that you don't even notice because it's so smooth. We're using this, right, and then drop down another, and then and that leads us directly into 2, 5, bringing us to the new key. Brilliant. I mean, just really fantastic writing. Oftentimes with key changes, they can be very abrupt, and composers just want to get the heightened progression out of it. Like, oh, let's, throw a key change in there and it'll bring everything up to the next level. Well, sometimes that works. And in fact, you can see in the beginning, we utilize that sudden drop into the E flat key center, and it works really well. But the problem is, sometimes they're just kind of there. And they don't really serve any purpose but to just say, oh, let's keep going up and up and up and up. In Beyonce's Love on Top, I think the focal point there is just her insane vocal ability. If it was just that's how it was written, it would be a little bit like, what is the point of these key changes? Now, I think that's actually a usage where it's okay, but this is how you truly do a key change in a way that your ear is almost not even noticing, but you still feel the raising of the bar, the bringing it to the next level. It's just, you almost don't know why. that same sort of bridge motion again. But we're up a half step now. Brilliant just piece of writing. And I love how they utilize the bridge motion as a sort of vamp outro, and it just fades out from there. I mean, it's a great illustration of the usage of thematic ideas.
The universe seems to be endless with no signs of life. While a lot of us might believe there is no extraterrestrial life out there, no one can prove otherwise. But recently, scientists made an incredibly shocking discovery when looking at the second planet from the Sun, Venus. They claim to have found life.
What's up, gamers? No! Hello everybody and welcome back to another Jelly World devlog. In this devlog we're going to be adding player HUDs into the game, we're going to redo the furniture placement system, and we're also going to allow you to place furniture on the walls, as well as a bunch of other things. So let's just get into the video. Today we are finally adding a player house into Jelly World, and the first thing that we have to do is actually draw the house. Houses are an extremely daunting task, but I do have some experience drawing houses in Luna Lane. When I draw houses, the first thing I do is draw something like a door so I can scale it to my players so it fits in with the rest of the world. I wanted the house to feel nice and cozy, but not too fancy. Alright, now that we have the door, we can move towards the next step, which is getting the general shape of the house. In Luna Lane, I made the houses facing the player, but in this game, I want the houses to face the side. I think this will add a lot of dimensionality, and I think it'll look really awesome. Next comes the hard part, making a roof. Getting the shape of the roof took me way longer than I'd like to admit, but, you know, once you get something, you get there. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. All that matters is that you got there. That's my inspirational quote for the day. Now that I got a general shape for the roof, I added a little chimney to the top, and I considered my early concept done. Next up was choosing colors and materials, and I wanted to go for a brick on the house originally, and as you can see, it was not looking good with the wood, so I quickly abandoned that idea. Fast forward a few hours in, and I'm working on the same thing. After hours of working and getting opinions on the house, I decided to make a blue roof for it, and I think it looks really awesome, and I got to putting the final touches on the house. And here we have the final product, and I am super proud of this. I think it looks absolutely amazing, and I'm so glad that I made this. It looks really, really good. Now we just need to get it into...
Привет! Хотите пройти обучение по заработку на партнерках? Здесь все четко и ясно. Продолжайте смотреть это видео. Меня зовут Ильнур Юсупов. Я выбрал партнерки, потому что я интерактивный.
Into the game. I imported the house into the game, and I think it looks pretty awesome. Next, I wanted to be fancy and add a smoke particle that comes out of the chimney. Look, the particles are behaving funny. Isn't that a funny game dev moment? Hashtag funny game dev moments. Funny game dev. Now the house looks even nicer with little puffs of smoke that come out of the chimney every once in a while. It's a nice little touch, and I really like it. With that out of the way, now we have to do big boy stuff. The big boy stuff in question is making this awesome inside tile set. Tile sets are another thing I struggle with artistically, but I started by drawing the floors and the walls. I finished the walls and floors, but I wasn't exactly happy with them. So I drew some wooden walls for the house, and let me tell you what, these things look ugly. I didn't want the inside to have a flat roof, so I worked on some sloped tile.